joining us. We're going to wait 2 to 3 more minutes and before we get started. So thanks for being here on time.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our second business information session. It's 3:32, and we are going to get started. Thank you all for being here. We're going to discuss the signature open streets that will be happening on 7th Street Northwest on Saturday, June 4th. And we are going to cover a bit of what open streets is, what has been done in the past, and how you as businesses can be involved for that day. Welcome to our virtual meeting. This video will be available and it is being recorded currently, so it will be shared on our website at www.dc.gov, and it will also be uploaded to DDOT's YouTube channel, so you are able to access this recording. If you don't want to have your voice recorded, please don't ask to speak. You can enter any questions or comments using the chat or the Q&A function in the WebEx, and then we will review them at the end of the presentation. So we'll leave plenty of time for Q&A. If you need any technical support during the meeting, please call the number on the slide at 202-309-3491. So the agenda for today, we're going to quickly introduce ourselves. We're going to jump in and discuss a little bit about what Open Streets is, as well as go over a recap on Georgia Avenue. We will then provide some event details of what's happening on 7th Street, and then Carolina is going to discuss what business participation could look like on Open Streets, and we'll go through some activation examples of businesses that have participated in the past. So we'll go over some of there's very many photos and many examples of what has been done. So we'll touch upon each of those. We'll discuss specifically how a storefront can be activated with either an interactive activity or information. And then we will close off with providing next steps, links to the business participation form and how you are able to fill that out and what requirements are needed. And then we'll leave time for Q&A. So I'm Andra. I'm a transportation planner here at DDOT.
And hello, everyone. I'm Carolina Vicargo. I'm the Open Streets.
So some of you may already be familiar with Open Streets, and some of you may not. Open Streets essentially is a global initiative that offers communities the opportunity to experience the city and public space in a whole new way. Open Streets events temporarily close roadways to vehicles and provide safe spaces for walking, biking, skating, and all kinds of other social activities free from cars. Our events help users and attendees reimagine what public space looks like when we prioritize people over cars. We provide easy access to recreation and other health programming and similar activities. And of course, we also promote local economic development and help support businesses through this event. So Open Streets began in Washington, D.C. In 2019 on Georgia Ave. The first Open Streets attracted about 30,000 people to the Georgia Avenue corridor. And surveys have shown that of the time on Open Streets during the hours that they were open, there was a 58% increase in customer activity and sales for the day. We also had a successful 2021 Open Streets event just last October, also on Georgia Avenue, and that attracted over 20,000 people to the corridor. There was a 34.8% increase in customer activity and sales for the day, and 72% of attendees reported having a positive impression of the Georgia Avenue corridor after having attended Open Streets. As well, 70% of attendees also spend about 1 to 3 hours on the corridor, with almost half participating in activities that are present on the route. So they do tend to linger and visit storefronts and check out the programming that we have available at Open Streets. So the signature Open Streets event, this is our second one of the year, given that Georgia Avenue in 2021 was our first. This will be taking place on Saturday, June 4th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And it will take place between Florida Avenue to the north and Pennsylvania Avenue to the south. You can see on the right is the route of the length, essentially, of what Open Streets will look like in June. And with that, I will pass along the presentation to Carolina, who will get into business participation.
Thank you. Okay, so there are many ways that you guys can participate as a business, and I will go over what is allowed and what is not allowed. So you're allowed to offer business specials that day. You are allowed to activate the public space on the street adjacent to your business. So you have priority to use that space that's right in front of your storefront. If you have a current streetery, you're allowed to keep using that, or outdoor dining. If you don't have one, but you are a restaurant or bar, we can help you get the permit just for that one day to be able to sell food and drinks right in front of your storefront. You can also bring games, demonstrations, display merchandise. Music allowed is non-amplified. If you do want amplified sound, you will have to apply to a permit through ABRA. And then any type of structure, please keep it to a 10 by 10, the maximum size. And nothing can be bolted or affixed to the ground. So the setup will begin, the street closures and setup will begin at 7 a.m. on Saturday, June 4th. And breakdown must be completely finished by 5 p.m. when those streets will reopen. So there are a couple of things that are not allowed. One of them is sales or vending on the street. We are in conversations with DCRA to see if we can actually, if they can help us change this without having to waive fees. But as of right now, any type of financial transaction needs to occur inside the establishment. So you can have your merchandise out if you want, like on the street, but any financial transaction needs to happen inside. Amplified sound, you would need a permit from ABRA. We're not using the sidewalk space. The idea is that you use the street and you leave the sidewalks open for ADA compliance. And like I mentioned, no permanent structures are allowed, nothing bolted to the ground. So this is pretty much the area that you're allowed to use. Anything that's in front of your storefront. and the parking space is usually 10 feet wide by 35 feet long. So this is an example of a corner business. And then this is an example of 3 adjacent businesses. So each business would be entitled to what is exactly in front of your storefront. And these are some of the examples that some of the businesses have done on our signature event on Georgia Avenue in the past. On the left-hand side, we have Smitty's Bar. They brought a DJ. They did get a permit for amplified sound. And then that was in 2019. And they also brought a face painter in the bottom left-hand corner, that picture. In the middle, we have Midlands Beer Garden. This event occurs during October, so they came up with this idea of doing an Oktoberfest contest of holding who can hold the sign the longest. They used water for the contest, and then I believe the prize was a beer. They had to go inside and have their beer. On the bottom, we have the streetery that got an extension for the day of the event. And you can't really see it that well, but they have cornhole right behind the yellow tables. So they did a game and also were able to expand their streetery. And then Mr. Braxton on the right, they brought some amplified music. They also did get the permit. Here are some other examples from 2021. There is a bucket drum along, is what they call it, in front of this business on the top left-hand corner. In the bottom, you see Aerial Yoga. This is Yoga Heights, which is a studio that is on the route on Georgia Avenue. So they did a demonstration, but then they also they showed people who were interested in learning how to get on the aerial yoga, how to do it. In the middle, we have an existing streetery. They decorated it with balloons for that day. And then on the right top hand corner, there was, I believe it was the same Yoga Heights who was doing a raffle. This was a free activity, but this was also a way for the business to collect emails from tentative new clients. And I believe what they were raffling was a free yoga class. So give us your name, we'll throw you in a raffle, and you have the option of winning a yoga class. And then in the bottom right-hand corner, this was another business that brought an artist to do life art with children. So there's plenty of ideas of how you can activate your storefront. We're encouraging you to do any type of interactive activities more than just provide information, but that is definitely up to you. And we don't want this to be of cost. I mean, very low cost, or preferably something that does not cost your business to do. So some examples and ideas are crafts, activities, and games. The face paint, it's a very popular idea. If you happen to know somebody who does that. Balloon artist, sidewalk chalk, chess. There's different sizes of this, the same as Jenga. You have regular Jenga, giant Jenga. Chess comes in all sizes as well. You can do any type of demonstration, music, art, dance, fitness. Let's say you know somebody who does a martial art. You have friends who do have some talent. You can always invite them to take that space and do a demonstration. You can do drums, art, dance, martial arts, bucket drum along, a music jam with instruments, hopscotch, hula hoops. The list can go on and on. And here are some pictures of examples. The face paint, on the top right-hand corner, there's a drum circle, and then just a simple hopscotch on the right bottom corner. If you only want to provide information about your business, that's also an option. You can also be a water station, so you can allow participants to refill their water bottles outside of your storefront or inside. You can also provide samples of whatever your business does, show your inventory, do raffles like the one I explained earlier, advertise your product, but again, no selling outside. And you can also just set tables and chairs for participants to sit, eat, or rest. If for any reason you are not open during the event hours, or you're not open on Saturdays, please let the downtown bid know, so we know that we can put another activity in front of your storefront. So for example, the right top corner, that was a restaurant on Georgia Avenue that only opens at 5 o'clock. By this time, the event was over, by the time that we're going to open. So we placed a virtual reality activity outside of their storefront. This was through the DC Bike Party, and one of the people that participates on the right, he does biking virtual reality. So we brought him to the event. And then the bottom right-hand corner picture is just another business advertising their products and just inviting customers to come inside if they wanted to try out their juices. So some of the things we're still working on, but we know you will need are pickup, drop-off, or what we call Pluto Zones. So we're working with the downtown bid to identify strategical points for Plutos. So if you feel like you want one close to you, please either reach out to the downtown bid or us. Our email will be provided at the end. So for next steps, we're gonna go over the business participation form in a second, but that's what you need to do for next steps. The deadline is Sunday, May 8th. It is open as of yesterday, and it will be, it's due on Sunday, May 8th, and you'll hear from us by May 16th about approval. You can send it before the deadline, and we'll be communicating with you in case you need to update anything on the site plan or in case we have any questions about your activity. And we'll also show you at the end where this business application form can be found. This is on our website, and we'll give you all this information at the end. So this is the business application form for 7th Street. Please make sure if you're filling this out, this is only for eligible businesses that are along the route. So your business needs to be placed on 7th Street on the route between Florida and Pennsylvania. So we require your email, business name, contact full name, phone number, business address. Like I mentioned, only eligible businesses located along the route are eligible to apply for this. What hours will your business be open on that date? And how do you wish to participate? So we have 3 options. One is offering business specials during the event. Another one is if you want to have an engaging activity, and the other way you can participate is by providing information about your business. When you do this, you also need to submit a simple site plan to our email, openstreets@dc.gov. If you need support with this, you can just answer this question that you need support. I'm going to show you an example of what a site plan looks like and all the information that it needs to include. But please note, this can be a drawing, pencil, pen. You can take a picture and send it to us. It doesn't need to be anything fancy, but I'll go over what the requirements are. We also ask that you please describe the activity you're proposing, what time you will be open on that day, and what time you will be hosting your activity. We do encourage you to stay throughout the length of the event, but we understand if you need to start a little bit later or end up a little bit earlier. Just make sure that you're setting up within, or that you have everything that you need for setup and breakdown on the street or on your business before the street closures. We also have a question if you'd like to be a water station and if you would like to be a restroom stop. This has been very useful in the past because there is a requirement from the Special Events Task Force team of number of porta potties, excuse me, depending on the amount of people that we're expecting. So we are able to minimize the number of porta potties when we're allowed to use other restrooms. For example, of course, we'll be using the library if there are any recreation centers along the route or any public spaces, parks. But if your business would like to let us use your restroom as one of the restroom stops, please let us know. And also let us know if you have any ADA compliant restrooms. Then we have another question, the last one, what other information do you feel you need in order to participate in Open Streets? And then did anybody assist you in completing this application? So because of the route, right now we're partnering with the Downtown Bid, that's our main partner for this event. But there is also Shaw Main Street along the route working with some of the businesses in that area. And then the Mount Vernon SID is also supporting us with any type of technical assistance for this application. We're also available, Andrew and I, to support you with the application and the site plan. And then if you just have any other person who helped you, we'd like to know. So going back to the PowerPoint, we just went over the business application form. And like I mentioned, the deadline is Sunday, May 8th. In addition to this, we're going to go over the site plan in a second. And also, if you need to update any permits for ABRA, I'm going to go over the 2 applications that you might need to complete. One is a one-day substantial change application, and the other one is the temporary license application. So this is the site plan example. Like I mentioned, it's pretty simple. Please make sure you include your business name, the address, and then your proposed activity. You can just add a short sentence, short description. So this is an example. Business A plans to have outdoor dining with 4 tables and 16 chairs in the parking lane of the road. So make sure you're including the dimensions. You have the 10-foot width of the parking lane and whatever's in front of your storefront. It might be 35, it might be less. So please make sure you're including the dimensions. If there's anything on the sidewalk, like a tree box or planters, please mark them. You can even just write up what it is and make sure that that sidewalk is clear of any structures. The same if you're just gonna put a 10 by 10 tent, please mark it on the site plan. And remember, there are no permanent structures or anything bolted to the ground. For Abra, like I mentioned, there are these 2 applications. If you need help with them, please reach out to us or the bid that I mentioned, Shaw Main Street or Mount Vernon Sid. And just keep in mind that these need to be submitted 20 days prior to the event. We are in conversations with Abra to try to get this fees waived for eligible businesses who wish to be on the route that day. And just to clarify, this doesn't mean that you can sell alcohol and people can walk around with a beer in their hand. This is still a designated space for drinking. So if you have a restaurant and you have a streetery, you're allowed to still sell alcohol on that streetery, but people are not allowed to be walking up and down with alcohol throughout the event. If you don't have a permit and you just want a one-day permit, it's the same kind of concept where you would have a designated area for alcohol consumption, but people are not allowed to leave or walk around with alcohol. And the other type of license that you might need is if you need to update your existing Abra license hours. As I mentioned, the event starts at 9. If your Abra license starts at noon and you want to update it just for that one day, Abra will be working with us. And I should know by the end of this week if Abra will be waiving those fees for eligible businesses participating. So that was a short recap of what Open Streets is and how you can get involved. Here is our website. It has the link to our event. Sorry about that. I apologize, technology, it has not been my friend this week at all. Let me just open it on a different. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. So this is our main website. If you go under the events tab, you can go on the 7th Street Northwest one, and you will find the information. This will be updated as we confirm programming and participation from different businesses and different vendors. And we will be updating the recording of this PowerPoint as well in the next 48 hours. So this is where you will find it. And our business application form is here. If you want to start filling it out, please check that link. And just make sure that you're looking at this website as we confirm programming, so you have an idea of what is going to happen that day. It will be really fun. There will be activities for people of all ages. And then if you need any assistance, this is our email, openstreets@dc.gov. If you need assistance with the business application form, if you need assistance with the site plan, or if you have any other type of questions as a business, please let us know. And if you have any questions right now, you can raise your hand and we can unmute you, or you can just type it in the chat and we'll respond to you that way. Kenyatta, I just unmuted you.
Thank you, Carolina. Thank you so much for this presentation today. Just a quick question. You said a number of times businesses along the corridor. Are there opportunities for businesses that maybe, say, one block off the corridor to participate, or is this specific to businesses that are located directly on George Ave / 7th Street Northwest?
So right now, we're only doing the businesses along the route. If it happens to be a business that is a fitness studio, for example, we can connect them to the downtown bid, who's organizing, coordinating all the programming. So they could provide like a yoga class or a fitness class, but it would have to be something that is related to the Open Streets mission. But if it's just a business that's a block off and they want to come and showcase their business, no, we're not allowing that at this point.
Okay, thank you.
So one of the reasons, and just give you an overview, like this isn't really considered a festival. It's more an event where people can enjoy the streets openly. So we want to just give priority to those businesses along the route, but we're not bringing any businesses from outside unless they're part of the programming, the specific programming for Open Streets. Any other questions? Alex, go ahead. I'm unmuting you, Alex, but it's not. Can you please type in the question, Alex? Because for some reason I can't unmute you.
Let's try again. It remuted me for some reason.
Okay.
So yeah, no, I actually had a call yesterday with Garen Price from downtown Bid, and he was telling me that folks were going to be able to walk down the street with their alcohol, open containers.
Yes, no, we had a meeting earlier with them, and they are going to correct that and send an email to everyone, because no, I mean, there is no permit for walking and drinking. And I mean, this is an event about health and fitness as well. We would never encourage that. And you know how hard it is to get those permits. So
sure,
so no, there is no public drinking.
So thanks for the clarification. So now on the Pluto Zones, are you trying to accommodate businesses that offer takeout and delivery so that drivers can, make pickups from the businesses on 7th Street? And also, how are we handling any deliveries that may need to take place? Can those Pluto Zones also be used for those purposes?
Yes,
That's my
I mean,
question.
that is the idea of the Pluto Zones, but having said that, we do expect a lot of traffic that day. So one of the things we want to make sure that we are communicating to the businesses is, please understand your delivery service might be delayed that day. Even if we have a Pluto Zone, you know how the traffic goes around festivals. With delivery, if you have any businesses that have a specific delivery, we can try to work around that and accommodate them. And let them use the Pluto Zone, but you understand this is going to be a little bit of a difficult coordination for 1.5 miles for the amount of businesses that we have on the route.
Yeah, it's understandable. Just wanted to see if that was a possibility.
Yes,
and
it is.
Second is for those streets that intersect 7th Street, so the lettered streets, the avenues, etc. That are too narrow for people to be able to make U-turns. Are you actually going to be closing those streets or putting up local traffic only signage so that folks don't get trapped in those?
So we close 7th Street, and then we close the 2 streets parallel as well. Those would only be residents who are allowed to come in.
Okay, so let's say the 600 and the 700 blocks of the cross streets are the ones that would be closed to through traffic.
Yes, we'll be closing 6th and 9th.
Okay.
As well.
Oh, and 9th. Oh, okay. So it's through the 800 block too.
Mm-hmm.
Because you do have 8th Street in between.
Does 8th Street does it go down all the way though?
Well, it's interrupted by the convention center.
Yeah, I believe as of right now, we have 9th as the as a closure, 6th and 9th as the parallel closures.
Okay, so, but you're not literally closing the streets, just the cross streets.
The cross streets, yes.
Okay. All right, those were my questions. Thanks.
Thank you. Hariti, I'm gonna unmute you.
No, you actually clarified it.
Okay.
I was going to state 6th and 9th are not actually closed. It's the cross streets at 6th and 9th that would be closed.
Yes.
I was just clarifying that. Yeah,
Thank you.
no worries.
And yeah, the residents will be allowed to come in and out of those little side cross streets, but they need to have proof of address in order for MPD to let them through.
Well, one hopes they have their driver's license on them.
Any other questions?
No, I also just wanted to let anyone know I'm with the downtown DC bid. My name is Harithi, and if you guys want to contact me too, just shoot me a message in here and I can give you my email address. Just make things easier.
Thank you, Hariti.
No worries.
Anybody else have any questions?
Yeah, sorry, I did forget one question that I had gotten from some businesses located on those blocks that are going to be closed on the side streets that do have customers that would like to get to them. So if someone identifies themselves as a customer of, let's say, Lofton's Tailor Shop on the 700 block of T Street, will those customers be able to get past MPD or whoever's closing off
In
the
the
street?
past, it's only been residential. We've only allowed residents to come in on those side streets. So I don't think MPD is going to change their mind about this. So I would just give the businesses notification to just share as much as possible on their social media, email newsletters that the side street will be closed for that day. So people can plan ahead, plan accordingly, and we're giving you plenty of time to do this as well.
Okay, certainly not going to make friends with a lot of those businesses that do a lot of trade on Saturdays, but thanks for answering the question.
Thank you. Anybody else have any questions? I see there's a lot of people who joined by phone as well. Okay, great. Well, if nobody else has any questions, thank you very much for attending our session. Like I mentioned, we'll be posting the video in the next 48 hours with all the information, so the recording. And please check our website. That's where you can find the business information, business application. And here's our email in case you have any other questions. You can just go ahead and send us an email. Great. Well, thank you very much, everybody, for attending. And we look forward to seeing your applications. We want to make sure businesses participate and take advantage of this event and are able to enjoy the activities as well. So thank you very much and have a good day.